Good afternoon. My name is Leigh Cadle with Be Ever Fit Fitness. We specialize in personal training for the active adult 55 and better in Frederick, Maryland. Spring is finally here, so today I have a list of exercises that I'm going to show you that are great for starting your spring exercise training, especially those that like to bicycle. The exercises that I have listed are all called dynamic exercises. The difference between static and dynamic is quite easy to understand. Static exercises hold your body in a tight, rigid form, whereas a dynamic exercise is more about fluid movement that mimics something more like your bicycle training. The first exercise that I have is called a dynamic plank. I'm going to start by giving you two options. The first one is to come down onto your mat and place your hands shoulder width apart. From there, I'll come up onto my toes. My back is flat and my core is pulled in tight. And 5 times on each side, I'm going to pull my knee in towards my chest, keeping my back nice and flat and my core on strong. If you find that exercise is not too difficult, you can make it harder also by coming down onto your elbows. Again, back is flat and you pull your knees in towards your chest. Either exercise that you decide to perform, let's shoot for doing 10 reps on each leg to get started. Our second exercise is called an upper body extension. I'm going to lay down flat on my belly on the mat. When I do, I'll place one hand on top of the other and then my forehead there. I'm going to pull my upper body up off the mat and back down again, making sure that each time I do, that as I lift up, I'm exhaling out. So again, I'm flat on my stomach, hips are tucked in, one hand on top of the other. Head is down, and I'm going to exhale, lift my chest up and down. And again, let's start with doing 10 of those at the beginning of your exercises. Next, we'll move on to the crunch with an exercise ball. So I'm going to grab my ball, and I'm going to start down on my knees, okay? When I roll myself out, the object is to get your quads right on top of the ball. So nice and slow, I'll roll myself out till only my quads are on the ball and my hip flexors are off. And from there, 10 times, I'm going to pull my knees in towards my chest and back out again. In and out. And again, let's shoot for 10 reps in each set. If you begin working on the ball and you find it difficult to balance on your hands, we can go back a step with that exercise and roll out and hold for a total of 3 seconds. So if I do that again and I roll myself out, if I find that difficult, it's completely fine to hold that for 3 seconds. 1, 2, 3, and then roll myself back into my knees, and then again, out and hold. 1, 2, and 3. And as you continue to get stronger, you can keep working on that till you can roll yourself out and hold for a count of 10. I would say once the 10 count becomes easy, let's start again trying to pull your knees in and out for a total of 10 reps. Okay, moving on. Exercise number 4 is a standard squat. Okay, I'm going to turn forward at first so you can see me. So you're going to want to put your legs just past hip width apart, toes turned out at a natural 10-degree angle. From there, you're going to bend at your hip with your hands on your hips and sit back and stand back up. Squeeze your glutes at the top of the exercise. So easy down and squeeze. Squat and squeeze. If you can do your squats comfortably, you can also put your hands down this way and bring your arms up to squat, which makes the exercise more difficult. Trying to create a straight line from your fingertips down to your hip. Excellent. Exercise number 5 is called a hip bridge. So I'm going to go back down and lay down on the ground. When you do your hip bridges, one thing that I want you to remember is that when we're cycling, and a lot of times just in regular life, we find ourselves in a forward flex position, and we're going to try and work our way out of that as much as possible. So when I lay down, you'll notice that I rotate my arms so that my palms are facing up. What that does is rolls and opens my chest up. So I lay down flat on my back. Here's my palms facing up. Take my buns and tuck them under, and then I'm going to lift my hips up off the mat and try and completely open my hip flexors. Your hip flexors are going to be tight from the cycling, okay? So we're going to try and open those up and activate the muscles in your glutes and hamstrings. So when you come up, let's squeeze for a count and tap it down. Squeeze for a count and tap it down. And we should be able to work up to 15 or 20 double leg hip bridges. If you can do that and those are starting to feel comfortable for you, you can also lift one leg up, and from there you could do 10 single leg hip bridges on your right leg, and then switch and do 10 single leg hip bridges on your left leg. Moving on to our last exercise, we're going to continue with alternating arm and leg raises. There's actually 3 great variations that we can do for this. As a beginner, you're going to start on your hands and knees, and we're going to do single leg raises. So I'll lift up one arm and the other, and then shoot out one leg and the other. And you'll repeat just that same move. 1, 2, 3, 4. When you're comfortable with that, we can move on to alternating arm and leg raises. So one arm and one leg. And notice I'm not trying to get any higher than horizontal. The idea is not to kick my leg or my head up. It's a controlled movement. So I'm covering my ear and trying to create that nice long straight line. Alternating arm and leg raises. Now, one more level of difficulty would be to lift up one arm and one leg, and from there, crunch those 2 in to meet in the middle and stretch back out again. Crunch and stretch. Crunch and stretch. And then switch and then repeat on the other side. Crunch, stretch. Crunch and stretch. Great job. Excellent. Thanks so much for tuning in. That concludes our 6 exercises that are great for spring bicycle training. Have a great day.